Alright. Welcome back to Shaman King 2021 Anime Review episode number 42. This is reviewing the 42nd episode of the 2020 reboot, The Great Tryout, which this one covers chapters 236, 242. 7 chapters. Oh yeah, and with this episode, though they have released 43 already, though with this episode, wow, they have 58 chapters left, but with next week, basically, a little less than that. Excuse me. Yep, 58 to go for the entire series. First portion of this episode, we focus on Yo, where he is basically battling his ancestor for a little bit. And after a pretty interesting battle, then he decides to stop his, hey, can we talk? And of course, they talk about Ho, the fact that before his sister passed away, he managed to see the birth of his son. And he asks Yo, you got any kids? And Yo is basically embarrassed by that. In the manga, he didn't have much of a reaction to it. In the anime, it's like he's so embarrassed by the fact that he doesn't have any kids. So look up, Akamaru is there to give hey, he's got a fiance, a very beautiful fiance. It's cute. And he's like, okay, that's good. And then he gets smashed by a giant hammer. And you're thinking, what the heck is this, a Looney Tunes cartoon? Oh no, his soul's been destroyed by a super demon. Which, of course, Yo proceeds to slice to pieces. And then he ends up battling a bunch of her ones. Then it's this little thing. They cut a couple times, several things outside. They do actually cut something here, which I will get to that. First off, we have Ryu, where he's chatting with Seti, and then a patch official shows up. And it was a neutral, of course, it's intimidating. I think, oh yeah, X22 have been eliminated. I think it's because the team has been killed. Yeah, the thing with the Patch Tribe is that at least 2 of them are on Ho's payroll. Yep. And the Patch Tribe don't give a damn about that at all. They don't care that 2 of the fishes aren't on the bad guy's payroll. All they care about is basically doing their own freaking job. They just don't care about fish to get rid of the 2. And Silver's practically the only one who's not corrupt. And yet they threw him in prison for doing an appropriate job. Yeah, because, oh yeah, being neutral, he shows off his little snake ability. And of course thinks, oh yeah, we're going to resurrect people. And then of course, you have Team Moon shows up. Yes, Team Moon. Where they're very intimidating. And it's like they actually threatened to kill, destroy Yo's corpse. So he's like, no, don't harm him. And then he actually adds something to the anime because in the manga, it's like, what? Yeah, this is actually pretty quick. It's like, oh, she's been stabbed. Here, they actually show the freaking stabbing. And of course, Faust basically trying to calm down. This happens in the scene, and that's it for that. Indicates what happens next. Because they mentioned what happened last episode with the possible the car exploding. And it turns out the car survived. Yeah, they all survived. If you look at Tomoko, Tomoko and Menta both survived. They do not mention the anime exactly how they survive. Not thoroughly per se. They mention due to one of Tomoko's spirits. And of course, then this guy picks up a little girl by the shirt and threatens her with his whip. Yes. And they actually cut this next bit out here where spirits tried to help her out, but they get kicked away. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they cut that for. I thought that was kind of weird. And then the giant Sphinx, this is of course Abdul, gets his head chopped off. You're thinking, what the heck is going on here? Who the heck did that? It wasn't Anna, because they mentioned Anna. And of course they do cut a bit of conversation here about how her become a beautiful woman, which, from what I can tell from the sequel series, she doesn't look like she's aged very much. She's roughly in her 20s. In the sequel series, the only focus on the main character's son, which I'm not getting more of that here. It's kind of an odd series that, to my knowledge, the story was never finished due to the magazine that was published and got canceled. Yep. So, and who actually chopped off the Sphinx's head? Marco, of course, who was miraculously alive thanks to his infinite love from the beautiful from the Holy Maiden, and yeah, and then of course they kind of add something here from chapter 243, where he's like about to face him for a bit, and he's facing for a little bit, and then Ho shows up completely out of nowhere with a couple of his subordinates, and they pin down Lisenberg. They pin down Marco, and we always see that. Oh, we see the car from a different direction, mind you. Which there's actually this next little panel when they show Lisenberg and the Iron Maiden genie in the car, which that's actually from chapter 243. That's not made for the anime. They actually added a panel in for some reason. That's why I think it's from the next chapter. But we're not going to end there. We do see Team The Ren where they hang out in the hot spring. Where basically like where Harrow keeping secrets. And then the Wise Kings show up. Where they proceed to kind of kill them. And of course, Chokolove's like, what, we're in hell again? And of course, he's butt naked. Lucky enough, his spirit, Mike, is actually covering up his groin, which that's kind of funny. And then, of course, he puts on clothes, and it just happened to be his Shaman King attire. And they go off and they show his spirit that's with him. Actually, turns into a human because apparently it turns out this spirit, Abe, was actually at one point looked like he was an Egyptian, and he was killed by Ho, like 1,000 years pretty much the series. Then he's dumped into another hell. In the case of Ren, he is completely naked. Which, by the way, they actually do cut the bit out here where they show off his rear end. Yeah, the manga loves showing off Ren's rear end for some reason. In the anime, you might be thinking, like, in this one, how many times does Ren's butt show up in this thing? Once. Yes, once. I know because I've seen it. And somebody might ask, Nick, are you a pervert? No. It just basically that's what's shown in the manga. I'm about to walk in with blame the original writer for keep showing some guy's rear end in the thing. So they apparently you see him still naked, and then apparently Bison is summoned, and then we see Lisenberg looks like he doesn't know where he is, but visually it looks like a ruined version of London, where he's confronted by a demon, and that's the episode. Very interesting episode, but that's what it looks like from a picture I saw for episode 4. I think it's going to get quite interesting to say the least. Yep. So yes, that's episode review. Next one, another episode of Shaman King. Yeah, it's one of those times, like second time this has happened, where, let's have it where Nick reviews 2 episodes in a row the same week. Mainly due to the fact that the site I was using didn't upload it. But look, I went to another site and they had there no problem. So let's do that one next, and then a free. Okay, next video. Bye.